opinions of the intro do not reflect the opinions of the Dice Tower as a whole.
Who made that intro? Did you make that intro? Is that your intro? That's a nice intro.
Shameful. All right. Okay, so today we're talking about our top 10 abstract strategy games, of which there are probably thousands.
Sure. Very little known.
Untold.
Thousands.
Sure,
This is not a genre that gets a lot of love.
well, sort of. The most popular games in the world are abstract strategy games. Chess and Go, for sure.
Sure.
They're the most well-known. Well, I guess you could argue that Monopoly and chess, if you said name a board game to someone, they might say Monopoly first.
Sure.
But I don't know that I've ever met someone in my life who didn't know what chess was. Anyhow, so we're going through this. I don't think my list is very surprising, right?
I feel the same way.
Right, this is not a list where if you've watched our shows and listened to us talk, you're going to be like, what? I think I have a few. We've done this list before. The thing is, though, is I had to sit there and go, what is an abstract strategy game to myself?
We all did that. We were talking about it a bit.
We were.
Sure. So
Go ahead.
No, I struggle with this because I went to Board Game Geek and they have an abstract strategy category, which apparently encompasses everything. Because if you go by the very nature of it, half the Euro games we play would be abstract strategy. There's no real strong theme on many of them.
No, they're abstract.
And they have strategy.
Yeah, but when you put them together, they mean a few new things.
I don't disagree, which means I agree. Probably an easier way to say that.
No, that's okay. That's a very abstract way to say that.
So,
yeah, I mean, when you call it an abstract strategy game, those two words together, that's like saying a deck building game. A lot of deck games have decks, and a lot of games you're building. This is a deck building game. No, that means a new thing.
yeah, so mine are all... I won't say that there's no theme to them because, for example, chess has a theme of two armies attacking each other. But it's clearly about pieces moving on a board.
A bunch of these games have themes. Not all of them, but a lot of them have themes.
I don't think the theme matters in any of mine, though.
Sure, absolutely, right. None of my games have luck past the setup.
Hang on, let me check and see if that's correct.
That's not correct on mine.
There's maybe a smidge in one that I will talk about, but okay, I'm with you so far. Keep
there
going.
you go. So no, they are not. What's the word where the sides are different? What is it called?
Asymmetrical.
Asymmetrical. Yeah, there we go. None of my games are asymmetrical by nature.
One of mine is very asymmetrical, but I think you would not disagree. It does not belong on this list.
Okay. They're completely strategic, or I guess there are tactics.
What do you mean by asymmetrical? Explain what you mean there.
Like one side is doing
I
different
know
things
what
than the other one.
asymmetrical means, but
What do I mean by it? I mean that both sides are different.
Like in chess, you have the same exact pieces on each side.
okay. All right.
It's not one person's the king and the other person's an army trying to capture the king. But I think that's a legit abstract strategy game. You can have an asymmetrical abstract strategy game where one person's doing one thing, the other person's trying to stop them. I'm trying to surround your piece and you're trying to break out. I think that's a legit thing.
Maybe, sure.
I'm trying to think of an example that would not be on my list and I can't.
Yeah, but I don't think it has to be asymmetric. I also don't think that the whole
Symmetrical,
idea.
you mean? It doesn't have to be
Right.
symmetrical.
It doesn't have to be symmetrical. I also don't think that there needs to be a lack of luck. I don't understand why there needs to be a lack of luck.
For it to be called an abstract strategy game, I think those games are luckless, no hidden information. That's another one. Strategy games.
Yeah, but part of your strategy doesn't mean that you have a lack of information.
No, I'm just saying abstract strategy means that.
I think
I'm going to have to wait and see what's on your list.
I think you may
and then
have
we'll tell
applied
you.
that. I don't
Bang
know
the
that
Dice
everybody
game is
applies
not
that.
an
I don't know.
abstract strategy game.
I think,
Bang the Dice game is not an abstract strategy game.
No.
Well,
let's do it. Let's do it and see.
I think we're going to have one three-way crossover.
And you and I are going to have like 4 games in common.
I feel like that's pretty common. You've
So
played
what
every.
you're saying is I'm going to have the most unique list out there.
Probably.
That's right. If you want a
Z has played
unique-
every game on my list except one I know you haven't played, and one you may or may not play. I don't know.
Okay.
All right, let's get started and see
good.
what happens.
Number 10.
My number 10 is
Reiner Knizia.
probably the, let me see, it might be the oldest on the list.
Check.
My number 9 might be older. I can't remember.
Go.
Anyway, my number 10 is
Not the game. Just start talking.
yeah. Please start your no. My number 10 is a game called Gem Blow. Gem Blow is you're placing these different shaped hexagonal gems out on the board, and the reason they're different shapes is like they're gems that are in different configurations, and you're trying to put as many of your pieces out on the board as possible so that you have fewer gems left at the end of the game. And whoever has the least number of gems at the end of the game, after not being able to place any more following the rules, is the winner. And that's pretty much what it is. This is a beautiful looking game. And it's also not snore-inducing, because there is quite you're engaged.
So
in
by
what
very
everybody's
nature,
trying
I'm
to do.
assuming all of mine that aren't Sam's list are.
This is one of the categories of games that I do not usually embrace.
Yeah, but you were able to get 10.
I was, and I actually had to whittle some out, so I get that. But this is not one of my favorite categories of games because I like theme. I like having something other than mechanisms to sink my teeth into. And usually abstract strategy games are very mechanical.
Sure.
This one, by the
And-
way, is an excellent game. It's one of the few. I was looking at my list. I have very few. I have one or two that are not two-player only. But this one works well. If you've ever played Blocus, this is almost the same game with hexagons, and it's better because it plays every number perfectly except 5.
Yeah, 5 is a little wonky. That's another thing that I tried to do with my list. I tried to pick games that were more than 2 players.
You tried to do that?
Yeah, because I don't like abstract strategy games. If I'm playing a 2-player abstract strategy games, I'm one of those people in the intro, more often than not. But with this, there's more people around the board, around the table. There are more people to interact with. I'm having a better time.
All right.
So
This is
that's
a
my
good
number
pick.
10, Gem Blow.
This is a good pick. All right, my number 10, if I have these correctly numbered, my number 10 is a game called Sugar Gliders. Is that right? Hit it.
Don't worry, you've never messed up before.
Yeah, right. Okay, Sugar Gliders is the one that has the most theme, actually, I think, out of most of my games here. And this one is a little bit like, Hey, That's My Fish, if you're aware of that game. You're going to be moving your little critters around. The board is randomly set up, but all those tiles are face up. You set it up one time at the beginning of the game so you know what everything is and where it is. And then you move your little critters. They jump in a straight line as far as the number you're sitting on. You'll collect tokens off the board. You are trying to get the most points possible by doing that, by moving in straight lines, jumping over things, trying to land where you want. In this game, you can jump over empty spaces, which you cannot do in Hey, That's My Fish. And it becomes really tactical as to where can I go if I jump from here in a straight line and land on this one tile. That's very mobile. I can go everywhere around my spot one step away. If I jump and land on a 6 tile, that's a lot of points. I'm not very mobile. I can only go maybe to one specific tile that's 6 away, and I can still get there, and that's it. So that's really neat. I like the game a lot. It's a quick playing game. It's engaging. It's well made. I enjoy this one quite a bit. It's a little lesser known than many of the other games on my list, but I very much recommend it. So, Sugar Gliders.
I'm going to call this is the most colorful game on your list.
Yeah, probably.
You know, it's interesting. When I was making a list, I started writing down categories for abstract strategy games because there isn't a ton. Get a certain number in a row, capture the other person's leader, whatever it is. This is like a category. You mentioned, Hey, That's My Fish. I think in this category, I'd pick Battle Sheep. for the mine of choice.
Sure,
I like
that one's like area control-ish, yeah, but it's like, in that one you're sort of spreading and taking over area.
Sure, but you're still sliding around. That's, I don't know, it's a kind of an interesting category.
I think Battle Sheep is a little closer to like Othello type. You're taking over control of stuff. This is like, I call this one the vanishing board type of abstract.
Okay.
And this is from Nestor of Nestor Games, who makes pretty much only abstract games.
Yeah, really does.
He's a designer.
Nestor Games always came in that little, like,
Right, so this one got
zippable-
picked up by a bigger company.
Got it. Okay.
That's how you can tell which of his games are the best, because they get picked up by other
Yeah,
folks.
it did, yeah.
My number 10 is in all capital letters, and that is Devon. This is one of 2 games from this line on my list, from the Gift Project it's called. This is one that I actually has grown for me tremendously. At my first playing of it, I was not a big fan. And as time has gone by, this one also has a shrinking board.
It does, same style.
And as you're moving these pieces around, you can only move a piece the height of its stack exactly. So the bigger it gets, the fewer places, and it has to land on top of another piece. So at the beginning, you can move almost anything on the outside of the board, and as time goes by, you have more and more moves, and then it shrinks down really quick. But you have to be connected to one of those red pieces, or your stack dies. That's it. Now, the only thing that's weird about this game is the setup part of the game, where the setup is actually part of the game. And that drives me a little bit bonkers, because while I feel like I have a pretty good grasp, I play the game now, I know how to play it. I might not win, but I feel like I'm competent at this game. Setup, I wouldn't know what to do.
I know, right?
So I just throw out all the
setup's
pieces
a
randomly.
Setup's a big part of it. You can do that. You can set it up randomly, but it is technically part of the game where you take turns one at a time, putting out a piece to populate the whole board. Then you start taking pieces and stacking them. You're right. I always feel the same way. Whenever I play part 1 of the game, the setup part, I always feel like, I don't know what I'm doing.
After a while, I'm like, I'll just put a white piece
I
here.
don't know what I'm doing, yeah. After that, I can sort of react and see the cascading effects of my actions. But setting up, man, I just hope I'm spread out enough to do okay.
Also, oddly enough, of this series, I think this is tie for the prettiest. The other one that's pretty is the one I hate the most, which is Zertz. But this has that Oreo cookie vibe to the pieces. Cookies and cream ice cream, I mean.
Yes.
And the reverse of whatever cookies. It's a bunch of cookies with specks of ice cream in it.
That sounds pretty good.
I would eat that. Anyhow, Devon.
cookies with specks of ice cream.
Number 9.
All right, my number 9 is from the, what was it? The
GIF series.
No.
You picked the GIF. I somehow doubt any of those games are making Sam's list.
that would be a correct
right.
doubt. My number 9 is a Kahuna. Kahuna came out in that 2-player Cosmos. That's why I can't remember.
Okay, got it.
I knew it was a blue label. I was like, is it Cosmos or is it Raspberry? I can't remember.
Yeah,
It's
think about it,
Cosmos.
but this is an abstract strategy game. Sure.
Absolutely.
No, not in my definition, but
Why?
Why?
cards. It's a random deck of cards. You draw cards randomly.
There's that luck factor that made that struck. I think that's a arbitrary addition to your definition because this is absolutely an abstract strategy game. You have to deal with what you have, but it is definitely an abstract strategy game to try to get those different bridges on the different islands. Yeah,
I'm hearing good points on both sides.
Whatever.
Now you're losing me. If you're gonna...
No, I
was balanced there.
No, I just don't think that it has to lack luck in order to be abstract and strategy.
Well, I have one game on my list
same
that has
time.
luck in it, and I'm curious what you will say about that one. That's why.
You definitely have to work with what you have, and you have to get those bridges to connect to the different islands, and that's how you're going to score points. And I really enjoy this. This is one of the few games that I got a long time ago that I still have because I really enjoy it that much. It doesn't make to the table that much because, well, we have to play new games all the time. But and there's a lot of 2-player games that have to get played. But this is still in my collection, and it's going to stay there because I do enjoy it that much. So that's my number 9, Kahuna.
This is one of the better games from the line of the Cosmos.
Sure.
2-player games, especially one that, like you said, came out a long time ago and holds up. All right, my number 9 pick is a game called Katarenga.
Katarenga. I danced to Katarenga. Oh, no.
That's Macarena. This one is chess-like. All the pieces look like just pawns in chess, but the spot they are standing on denotes how they may move. So that second that second black piece on the green space there will move like a knight in chess, and if it moves up to that blue spot in the L shape, then it will move like a queen after that. I think that's the queen's power.
Looks like it. Or it could be the king, because
or maybe the king. I forget off the top of my head, but that's how that game works. As you move a piece, it changes. It transforms into a new piece, depending on where the pieces are standing. It makes for really interesting standoffs, where you have two pieces next to each other. Neither one can capture one another, but if I move over here, now I can capture you without you being able to capture me back. You better move. You know, there's all these interesting standoffs, and it works fantastically. It's a nice game. It's a colorful one also, and the symbology they use for the different classical chess pieces, as long as, again, you look at the rule book, I haven't seen it in a while, are very clear. It makes sense. You know, it's an easy one to play.
Would you play an upgraded version of this where when you move to a spot, you replaced it with that piece? It wouldn't be that hard to do. I could buy a couple old chess sets, right?
I guess I wouldn't need to. I like the
Seems
way
like
it
it would
looks.
clutch the game out a lot.
Yeah,
They're
the idea of
constantly
like
switching pieces
switch
out.
them, you know. I guess you could though. Yeah, you're right. It's a very easy thing to do.
This is
If
interesting.
it helps visually for the other player, I would. Yeah,
All right.
cool idea. Anyway, I like this one quite a bit. Katarenga, good stuff.
My number 9 is the least known on my list. When I was going through, it was like on page 10 of the abstracts on Board Game Geek. But it's one, actually I'm just sticking it in the Board Game Library right now, because it comes in a wooden box. We had to put a label on so you know what it's called, and that's Quinamid. One of my favorite, this is actually, I think was like a slip cover for the box. But it comes in a wooden box. One of my favorite genres of abstract strategy games is get a certain number of things in a row. You know, I like tic-tac-toe. Pentago is another one that is closer to being on my list, but I think Quinamid beats it out. In this game, you can add a piece, or you can rotate one of those board sections, or you can slide a section. There's a slight bit of memory in the game. In fact, half time when I lose, it's because of memory, because I'll slide a thing and oops, I just gave you 5 in a row, or I gave you 4 in a row, and you dropped the 5th piece in. But I really like it. I think it's a neat game. Quinamid, have you played Quinamid?
Yes.
Okay, so then you have played every game on my list except one. I didn't know if you had played this one.
Yeah, cool.
All right. Yay.
I haven't played it either, but thanks for asking.
Number 8.
All right, go ahead.
All right.
I didn't want to see you sleeping is what it is.
My number 8 is from I guess a lesser-known company called Baxmendel Games. They're based in Ireland, and this is called Kodinka.
No way.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you knew this was going to be on my list, yeah. But Kodinka is a really neat game where you start with a grid of Bakelite tiles, and you have, and this is probably going to miss your mark as being an abstract strategy game as well, because it's asymmetrical, because you start with different goal cards that you're trying to get the different configuration of tiles into, and you can flip them over and that type of stuff. So you have these different cards that you have.
This is a Zool.
In your hand, basically. So the top one there, you want to get 2 white symbols and 2 yellow symbols. The one is 4 yellow symbols in a row. The other one is 4 on the corners, white circles.
Right.
So you have these different goal cards in your hand, but it is absolutely abstract strategy. There's no.
Don't look at me. I'm not arguing.
There's I don't know. In my mind, there is absolutely no question that this is
I'm
abstract
saving my
strategy.
argument for
Because
a more
you're just-
egregious.
you're
Good
just-
one. Yeah, good one.
You're just, oh wow, this is a good game. Anyway.
No. I meant.
Not
we
like
meant-
a really polarizing
No,
example.
I see. I got you.
I gotta save my ammo.
Yeah.
Conserve ammo. But it's really good. It has really great pieces. It comes in a really cool container, a magnetic flap container thingy.
Yeah.
It's portable. It's easily mobile, that type of thing. So it's just one that I've really enjoyed. So it's my number 8, Code Dinka.
Cool. Okay, here we go. My number 8 is a crossover already. Devon. Yep.
Devon is divine.
Devon is a very good game. Tom already pretty much laid it out for you. I like it as well. You said you had one more game from this series, the GIF series.
I'm sure you know which one it is. I talk about it more than the other one.
I forget which one's the one you like the most.
That really is pretty.
Is this the only one on your list?
No, gosh, no.
Okay, because I know. I'm pretty sure I know one that's higher than
No,
this.
this is just the lowest rated of the ones I felt like I wanted to put on the list, you know. But it is a very good game. It's got a funky shaped board. It's sort of an extended hexagon.
It was just reprinted last year too, so
They
you
were
should
all
be
just
able to find
reprinted,
it.
yeah.
Were they all?
Yeah, in the big square box, Ticket to Ride size box. And in fact, the newest one, much to my chagrin, only came out in the new size.
Oh, so you have to.
So I had that whole like, do I get them all again? Or
That's what they want you to do.
oh, you know.
Yes,
Anyway,
yes, have some.
Z's
is
number 1 in this series is Tamsk.
yeah, sure,
It has
absolutely.
timers. it's like everything Sam hates in one box. It's an abstract strategy game, but you have to move the piece as fast as you possibly
And
can.
it's sand timers. If they run out, they get locked. And I think the newest edition has many, many stickers as well. Anyway, that's my number 8 pick.
All right, my number 8 is one that can be played with 4 players, and this is another lesser known one because it's from Queen Games, and they don't make many abstract strategy games, at least. This one is Glux.
Yeah.
Glux is a game that I
that's
guess is a Glux.
I think it's Glukes.
I will
I think it is.
defer. I don't know.
I only think I heard that somewhere.
So this game is kind of area control. Well, I guess it's area control as you're trying to control these lighter colored regions here on the board, and you do so by placing out tiles, but you can place them out only equal to the number that's on the pip that they're going away from.
Mm-hmm.
So like that board doesn't look legal at all, actually. That 3 next to I guess the 3 came from the 1. I'm not sure how he got the 6 out there, though.
From the 1, you can play multiple things next to one.
No, the other 6. The purple one down in the corner.
Oh,
Anyhow,
I don't know.
it doesn't matter. But you get to decide which side of these tiles you're going to put out. You know, the 6 or the 1, the 2 or the 5. And the bigger numbers are better for controlling, but they also they're harder to maneuver because you have to put the next tile that far away from it.
Again, it sort of ties to the same things we've been talking about. Devon, the gliders game. It's that idea of strength versus mobility.
Yeah.
It's that push and pull, which shows up in many abstract
This
games.
one I think is on my list partially because I was expecting it. When I first saw this, I was like, this does not look good at all. And I really like it. I was hoping the game would light up since it kind of
It does look like some sort of
point out like it
weird,
should, right?
Those kids' light bright things. It kind of has that vibe to it. Is that what it's called? Light bright?
Yeah.
Man, I miss Light Bright. What a great thing.
They get a glutes.
All right, my number
version.
8.
Still good.
Glux or Glukes? Glute.
Number 7.
My number 7 is it is the newest one on the list. We just played this a while ago. I think we did this Miami Dice.
Abstract Miami Dice. Did we do one of those?
I don't remember.
I know
Well, if you say the name, we'll be able to help you out.
Map Maker, the gerrymandering game.
Yes, we did do this Miami Dice.
Yeah, we did this Miami Dice. And apart from setup, there is absolutely no randomness in this game whatsoever. But that randomness feels like it can pretty much determine whether or not you're going to have a chance to win. Feels like, possibly. Of
The
course, there's-
randomness of setup?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be a bad thing?
Well, yeah, it is a bad thing, but I don't think it's actually true. It just
okay.
seems that way.
Oh, okay. I
Because
thought
you
were
can
saying
you can look at the board and say, "Wow, there's no way I can win because I'm too spread out or I'm too localized."
I do wonder if this might benefit from the same thing Devon has,
Sure.
where you could lay them all out at the beginning. I think that's possible. I didn't even consider this one as it came. It is abstract strategy for sure, but it also is thematic, which is kind of weird.
It has a theme. I don't know if it's. You mean like it feels thematic?
It could literally be
Well,
anything.
yeah, because you are really
because-
gerrymandering. It's not. That's what they actually do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's doing exactly what the name
Understood,
says.
But you could have farmers cropping off their fields. You could do anything with this.
That would be a really weird farming situation.
Sure.
I'm putting this fence up here, but my family lives on both sides of that.
Too bad.
These are my kids now.
What you're actually doing in there, yes, it is thematic in that this is what actually happens when you are gerrymandering and dividing up different districts. But all you're really doing is putting boundaries up, trying to gain the most control over the most counties. That's all you're really doing. So there's a connection there, but not really. And it is very much an abstract strategy game because you're just trying to figure out how you can divide your counties up to where you push out other people's more powerful tokens and you keep yours a little bit more sequestered, I guess you could say. So it all comes down to where you lay out your boundary tokens, and you can put out 4 of them most of the time. The beginning you have different numbers, but the first person starts with 2, and the next person does 3, and then 4, and then everybody does 4 after that until they're all gone. But anyway, it's a really fun game. And it's over very quickly as well. It doesn't take, and it supports, I think, up to 4 players. So again, I like it a lot. It's my number 7, Map Maker.
Cool.
I guess by you putting it on his list, that should appease anyone who thinks the game is political.
Oh, no.
No, it is abstract. I mean, it is.
That's
There's
the-
a political theme, but it is an abstract
that's
game. All right, my number 7 pick, yes, is will show up later on. I'm certain of it, and this is Onitama. Onitama is a 2-player only game, and it's sort of chess-like. You know, you are capturing pieces, removing them if you land in their spot, capturing them off the board, and you can either win. In this one, there's sort of 2 ways to win: eliminate the opposition off the board, which includes, of course, taking the quote-unquote king character there, or simply landing in their home spot. The sensei, is that what they call that specific character? If you land in their opening spot, the center spot on their side of the board, that's also a win, that infiltration condition. It's a neat game. It is different depending on the play of it, because the cards that are in play available dictate moves that are available.
No.
But it's always the same 5. I mean, like in a game, it's the same 5, and you will manipulate which moves you have access to in that game. I like that because it really adds to the replayability in the game. I don't know, it just feels like a tighter, scarier chess. It's, you know, you're always, when I play this game, I always feel like, am I messing up? Am I putting this character in a spot where you're about to capture them? Because it's so truncated. The whole thing feels so tight. I'm always like,
is tight.
am I scared? Am I messing up? Am I messing up? Boom! You take my spot. I'm like, oh, didn't see that move. Okay, yep. So I like that. But the neat flip side of that is, use a move to hurt me. I'll take that move next turn because you make it available to me. And when I cash a move in, I do something. I'm taking your old one, putting that in front of me as one of my 2 possibilities. So that balances. I like that.
Cheers.
So there you go. Onitama, my number 7 pick.
All right, I've decided Z's wrong about the luck thing.
Go ahead.
I've been thinking about it for a while.
You haven't been listening to us as we speak?
Well, there's both. But I haven't got those ear things yet. If I had those.
Oh, you're right. It's a inside joke if you watched earlier this morning.
Yep.
No, because backgammon is one of the most well-known abstract games out there, and that's all.
I think it is. I just don't think it's an abstract strategy game. I think it's an abstract game.
Oh, now you're delving into going up against the man.
Who's the man?
The guy who decides who abstract strategy games are.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
It's a club. Well, I'll tell you about it later.
Okay.
Anyway, my number 7
They have a club for that?
is has a little bit of luck in it from tiles that are being drawn from a bag.
The Duke.
No, it's Azul stained glass Sintra.
Okay.
All right, I like both Azuls, but I think I like this one probably twice as much as I like the first Azul, actually.
The first one you rated like a 7. This one's a 14.
No,
out of 10.
And as I said that, I was thinking about that I think I like 9s twice as much as I like 8s, which I like twice as much as 7s. I think that's a good.
Good night. That means
No,
when
I
you
think-
rate a game a 2, you despise it with all of your soul.
Yes, and I have no problem saying
I mean,
that.
like, no, you'll go outside
With
and
90%
stab
of
it.
your soul.
no, no, no.
90% of your soul. The 100% is
Yeah, the 1 to
reserved for the
10 scale
ones
is
and
based
zeros.
on soul currency.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, but I think that's true. I think I like 7 games twice as much as 6s, and 8s is twice as much as 7s. Anyhow, that's like a whole different topic.
That's weird.
I
Okay,
really
let's
like
do it.
this one. I like the theme, which is the building the stained glass
Sure.
windows, which is not existent. The pieces feel great, but I really enjoy in this game the interaction between the other players because I'm trying to force you to take a group of tiles, and it's going to happen more in this one, I think, than the first one.
Yes, yes.
In fact, I once have gotten more negative points in this than a human being should get, but that was my wife's fault. So, yeah, this one I like a lot. I don't know that this would appear. Do you consider it as an abstract strategy game?
No, there's
You're
luck
too-
in it.
You're too draconian.
I guess so. I don't know.
Draconian?
There is
With this-
luck in this. You're seeding the board from a random bag. It's happened to me a few times where I'm like, okay, I need that one more yellow. Doesn't come out on the board. It's just not available.
Well, if you were counting the tiles,
So, well, no, it's not
So
just,
statistically, it might still not come out.
not just that. You don't
but-
necessarily. if you can't do the yellow tile, you got to find something else to do.
right?
Oh,
You got to
sure,
deal
that's every
with.
game.
Yeah, but you
But
got to
that's-
deal with the
that's
tiles
the
that are out
strategy
there.
Part of it.
See, I was on your side, thanks to the rudeness of your opponent, and yet.
He's just hitting everybody.
Not rude.
It's everybody. Pow, pow.
Pow. Right?
All right. Anyway,
Man.
my number 7, Azul stained glass Sintra.
Number 6.
All right, my number 6 is a card-laying game. And the abstractness of it is because of its, I don't know, I think it's a pretty large disconnect from its actual theme. It's got a cool theme on it. You're building a garden, and you're trying to match different pieces to that garden to score points. The problem is you can't score a point if that specific kind of texture or pattern hasn't been flipped up. And once you do score it, you flip it down. You can't flip them back over until you score all of them. Samurai Gardener is my number 6. And you're using cards. Now, it has a slap mechanism on it that I hate and I do not use.
Wait, what is this?
Huh?
What's this?
Yeah, where you slap down and you pick a card. There's 4 players in the game. You deal 4 cards out, and then somebody says go. And
I feel
whoever
like that may eliminate it from being abstract strategy.
Well, that's the thing. That doesn't happen. And
Well, then
when
how do you
when
take
I
'em?
play
You
the
just
game,
draft
the
'em?
variant is you just put it out there. The first person chooses the one that he wants. The second person chooses the one that he wants.
Why would you play with the slap method?
It's the
no
real rule.
idea
That's the
at
actual
all.
rule. The other thing's a variant. Yeah.
Oh my word! I don't hate
So he
slap
doesn't
games
like
per
it.
se. These guys hate slap games more than I do.
I hate them. I think they're
So does
horrible.
Z.
Yeah.
It's a horrible mechanism. It only promotes people getting damaged physically during a game because
I mean,
if
if you're going
somebody
to
has
damage people
talents,
emotionally, fine, but physically, you're a monster.
Anyway, this is a great little abstract strategy game. You're just trying to score points. It's beautiful as well. It's very colorful, and I enjoy it a lot. It's from Osprey Games. My number 6, Samurai Gardener.
Alrighty, my number 6 is from the
GIF series. It's got to be time for another one.
and this is the newest one. This is Link.
Is Link the newest one?
Yeah, that's the newest one.
This one is in my top 20 actually. I really like this one. This is my
Link.
third favorite from the series.
This one has interesting. This one has interesting mechanisms. It's not.
That's about all you can say about most.
No,
of
like,
abstract
well, I
strategy
mean, it
games.
doesn't fit into. We've been describing the, X in a row and control different chunks and shrinking board, all that jazz. This features shades of those things, but there is one central idea in it that is pretty neat, and that is there are all these colors on the board. They belong to no one at the beginning, neither one of the two players. And so you will make moves to stack pieces on other pieces, never the same color in a stack. So a stack will have one of each color. At some point in the game, you can draft a color, meaning, okay, green's looking pretty good right now. It's mine. I'm green. And then at some point, you'll take another one. There are 5 colors. One will be unclaimed. And you are trying to control the towers of that color. They'll score you victory points. In fact, when one's complete, if it's your color, you remove it from the board, put it in front of you. That's a point towards victory. I just find that fascinating because it adds this idea of when is a good time to claim a color. As soon as you do so, your opponent can start burying those pieces also, you know. So you got to not do it so quickly that you can be squashed, and not so late that your opponent took that color before you did because it was looking pretty good. So I like that a lot. This is also a little more complicated than the other ones in the line.
Sure.
Sort of by the very nature of the new stuff going on in it, it is a little more complicated, which I think is going to keep it off of people's lists who love the a minute to learn, lifetime to master mentality, right? But I like it a lot. So Link, my number 6.
By the way, your abstract game loses a point from me
100%.
if you put
say that.
a minute to learn, a lifetime master on your box.
It's been done. Stop.
Alrighty. What was the one that you had with the chess pieces that changed based on where they landed?
Kataranga.
Kataranga. I think the spiritual cousin of that is my number 6 in Kamisato.
Yeah.
In this game, you have pieces. They all move the same way, where they're all like queens, but they can only go forward. You can move them as far forward as you want, or diagonally, but you can't go through another piece, yours or your opponent's. And then the color you land on is the color piece your opponent must move. Mm-hmm. First person to land on your opponent's end line wins. Mm-hmm. And usually a game takes place like
super quick.
I don't know, 7 or 8 turns. They're not really long.
Yeah.
This is, I think, this is regular Kamisato. The box I showed you is Kamisato Max, which is just a bigger board. You can buy a smaller one. You can even play, in the rules, they have a super deluxe over the top. I mean, they have like advanced rules that when you do win, then one of your pieces becomes a sumo piece. And I found out that this is actually pretty much only played by the designer. Then they did it because he played it so much with his son that they wanted to,
evolve
right. The game. But that when they teach it at conventions and stuff, they pretty much just play the base game.
Which is
all I ever play. I played that sumo thing one time, and I was like,
I think I did it once also, and I was like, this ain't worth it. You have to remember also that the piece, when it becomes a sumo, it's stronger, and it can push a piece, but it can only move so far, and then you start actually counting spaces. At that point, it's like,
But this is a fantastic game. In fact, this is the Hook version of it, but Peter Burley Games, he's made like 5 games total. 2 of them, the other one almost made my list.
What's the other abstract from him?
The game where you're putting the pipes in order and trying to make all the same number. Everyone draws a pipe. Anyways, doesn't matter. This is a fantastic game. Kamisato.
It is.
Number 5.
My number 5 is probably also going to be considered not a abstract strategy game.
By Mr. Abstract Grumpified?
By whom?
By someone that might be sitting in close proximity to me.
Roy.
But
Roy thinks they're all abstract.
Roy's like, yawn. Where are the plastic miniatures?
Yes, that's true. Partially.
All right, what is this, man?
My number 5 is by Emperor S4 Games, and it is called...
Hanamana Koji?
No.
Hanamana? That was too many.
No, Realm of Sand. Realm of Sand is...
you're not going to get any argument from us.
Pick.
I haven't played it.
Me neither. Right.
Oh, I thought you played it. No. Isn't this another one where you're making patterns?
Yes.
You like that genre, I think, more.
Yes,
This is the second one on your list, I think, that does it.
Yeah, you're basically going to be choosing one of those pieces from the circle that's going around the cards, and you're trying to build the shapes within your player board that match the different buildings that are on that are available. Once you are able to achieve one of those, you take it and score it for points. Another one takes its place. Another thing about this that makes it a little bit maybe less abstract for somebody else sitting at the table is that you do have a special ability that only you can do. You don't have to play with those if you don't want to, but you can if you do. And you should. So that's my number 5, Realm of Sand.
I think my argument about why I might not consider this one, even though I haven't played it, abstract strategy, is the number of different pieces and things going on. Like there's cards and pieces. It almost feels like it's a different genre because of that. Abstract strategy games to me usually have a few pieces, a few things.
Well, I guess so. I mean, this supports, I think, 4 players as well, so you kind of have to have
Let
more
me
pieces.
call the abstract strategy office
and see,
and
what,
see
they
what
say.
they say.
Yeah, sure, that's fine.
The club. You need to tell me about this club. I don't know about.
Well, you're not invited.
They sound like a blast.
That's my number 5, Realm of Sand.
5. Okay, my number 5 is from a company who is a little lesser known, but they do just abstracts.
This
And
must be that one at Germany.
Yeah, they are called Clemens Gerhards. And this is a game called Tintas. This is my favorite from them.
This game is good.
In this one, you are setting up all these colored bits randomly, so the board is a random setup. And then from that point on, you move a pawn, the one pawn that moves on the board. You're going to be moving that around, claiming a piece, and where you leave it, your opponent will be able to claim from there. They can always move that piece in a straight line to the next available thing. And then that'll be removed. The pawn will take its spot. You are trying to either get a certain number of pieces of a certain amount of, of a certain number of colors, or 7 in the same color, which is all of them. And so it very quickly becomes this game of chicken a little bit, in which, I've already got 3 yellows. I cannot leave you next to a yellow. I need to make sure that you are leaving me next to a yellow so I can jump in there and grab it. And so you can try to go for that strategy. If that falls apart because your opponent even gets 1, that's done. Pursue the other thing to try to get 3 and 4 colors or whatever it is. I really like it. This is a small game. It's very reactionary in many ways. There is that idea of okay, and thinking if I go here, they're going to want to go there, which gets me this one. Boom, right? It's neat. If you're not aware of the company, all their games kind of look like that. The box is like that. But they are all very well produced. The materials, the boxes are sort of like, what is this?
Yeah, but they also, I don't know, when you compare this to, say, the ones from the GIP series, these
I don't know, but
these are just wooden pieces.
If you like the wooden abstracts, these are stunning.
Stunning? I like them. I wouldn't call them stunning. That's just
I
a
think
bunch
they
of
are
wooden discs on a board.
magnificent.
Point of order. I wouldn't call many of the games on your lists magnificent looking. I wouldn't even call them pretty.
Okay, how about elegant?
How about boring as all get out?
All right, anyhow, I didn't
How
mean to...
about hyperbolic?
Yes.
Okay,
Agreement?
this company here, though, you should check them out at SN. They always have a booth in Hall 3 where they have the games all stapled to the wall or whatever, and they always have one new one, I think, every year.
They got a
Games
couple,
are
yeah.
stapled to the wall?
Whatever, glued, I don't know, just on the wall.
Oh, okay.
And the first year we got into this company, we got 6 of them.
Yeah.
And it was and the next year, there was one more.
Yeah.
So,
I played a few of them. They're pretty good.
I don't know that I played.
Favorite.
I don't know that I played a game from them yet that I thought was bad.
I agree. I agree.
All right, my number 5 has luck in it, so Z's wrong, and that is War Chest. And there's no way you could not call War Chest an abstract strategy game.
I haven't played. So.
This is the one you haven't played, but you have pieces on a board. Each side has a certain number of pieces. They each move differently, so it's asymmetrical. That breaks another one of your rules.
What are you talking about? No, chess is, by that definition, asymmetrical.
No, I have 4 different pieces than you do.
Oh, okay.
And then you pull from a bag, like a bag building game. But when you pull from a bag, you decide how to use will you put the piece on the board? Will you make your piece stronger? Or will you use that to move the piece out there? It is a fantastic game, and it's one of the few games that plays 2-on-2. I think I put it on that list a while ago, and it works really well.
Okay.
It's released an expansion for it. Adds a few more, I think 4 new pieces to it. I like it. I like it a lot.
I wonder if this was produced with minis for the pieces and a deck of cards for the tokens in the bag. And it was a deck building game in which every time you wanted to draw, you draw a card and you could discard that card to make somebody stronger, or put the unit into play by putting the card in front of you and grabbing the corresponding plastic miniature and putting him out on the board. Same game, still abstract?
Probably not, but that doesn't do it that way. You could say that about everything too.
No,
I mean,
you can't.
If
Chess with gorgeous miniatures, still chess.
yes, but the pieces in this game are the cards. In your situation, you're pulling the thing from the bag and then putting that on the board. If you start replacing everything,
It's the same game. Yeah, baby.
I feel like the comments are gonna, for once, have mine and Sam's back.
All right, let's find
feel
out.
like
We're going
it.
to find this out.
I'm gonna get some backup.
Wow, don't get too excited. We haven't heard your 1 through 4 yet.
That's true.
Oops.
Well,
Bang the dice
I
and
guess
scratch that
it's
up.
pretty good that 2 of them are going to be crossovers.
That's good.
Well, I know one of them.
Number 4.
All right, following on
crossovers.
that, following on that whole luck is okay in an abstract strategy game, we're gonna go with.
It has been deemed okay.
Oh, no. no.
We're
what
going to
do
go
you
with
got?
Sagrada on this one. My number 4 is Sagrada. And this has luck in that you have dice and they're rolled, and sometimes the number you need is not going to be up there. Sometimes the color of die that you need isn't going to be in that group that was pulled from the bag and rolled at the beginning of each round. But you're drafting dice, you're putting them on, you're making up a stained glass mosaic, I guess you could call it, that you've chosen from 1 or 2, I think. I think you're dealt 2 different patterns, and they're double-sided, and you can choose which one you're going to slide into your player board, which deems what you're going for on that turn. So I think there's a variableness to the setup, but I don't think it takes away from the abstract nature of it, because you still have excuse me, that pattern that you're going for, and you've chosen it. It's not randomized, so to speak. Yeah. Anyway, I really like this, and it's very colorful. It's very aesthetically pleasing, I guess you could say, having all of the different colored dice. And it's also very, what do you call it? For me, it's very...
Thematic?
No, not thematic. No, not at all. It's not thematic. It is gratifying.
Hey,
Thank
when
you.
I play this game, it feels like
Gratifying.
I'm making a stained glass window.
No, it
so
does not. It does not. It's nothing like it. That's why I don't think it's thematic at all.
I don't know. This is...
This one really pushes the edge
This is
of
the most
my...
egregious pick so far, which is fine. Again, it's your list, man.
Let's use the hoity-toity words.
Well, then, it's stupid. It's what I was going to say.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah,
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Say it,
on
don't
Sam
spray it there,
now.
buddy.
Yeah, I think this is the definite. Like, this is that thing between an abstract strategy and an abstracted game. This is an abstracted glass window building game. You're building the windows with glass. That's dice that you rolled. You
So
have
it's an abstract game. Okay.
you have random goals. You have hidden information with cards. This is a regular game.
That you have to strategize in order to accomplish. You
Yeah.
have to have a strategy. So it's an abstracted game in which you employ.
you have to have a strategy?
Yes.
It's no way, man, no way.
Do you think El Grande is an abstract strategy game?
No.
Why?
It's an area control game.
Oh my goodness me! The defense rests.
Whatever. I think you're both wrong.
All right, where are we at? 4. Okay, 4 is
Wrong!
wrong. The board game. No, my number 4 is Santorini.
This has asymmetrical sides.
They're optional.
You never play without them.
Sure, all the time.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if they're balanced. I can't tell.
It's way more fun with the powers.
No, I like the game the way it is.
Again.
That's fine though.
When you take asymmetry out of a game, sometimes you suck a lot of the fun out of it.
Well, I'm not saying that. Okay, don't be on my side.
That's what you just said.
Again,
You said it's much more fun if you put the
particular game.
That's what I said sometimes. I didn't say all the time.
That's fine. I get it. It is more. It makes you feel different, and then that's a good feeling. I like that, but I like the symmetrical sides clash with the same forces, same availability of things. I think, in fact, if you play this by that definition I've been talking about anyway, I think if you play with the powers randomly dealt to you, you get one, I get one. It's not really a quote-unquote abstract strategy game anymore.
I don't even know how to argue with that, but all right.
There you go. This one is a very clever game. It's an interesting game of kind of area control. You're sort of attempting to control one spot that you've been building up. And on your turn, you move a character and then build up something around that character. The cool thing, and my favorite thing about this game is you have to build something to levels 1, 2, 3, then you jump on top of that from a second level to a third level, and you win. But there's a fourth level to every building that, if built, cancels the possibility of controlling that tower. That is very cool.
The little blue piece.
The little blue dome.
I want to go to Santorini because it looks cool in the pictures.
Yeah, it does. You've seen pictures of Santorini. It's
Yeah,
really neat.
have a convention there, someone.
So this is a really clever concept. I love being able to think about trying to trap someone in a corner, which is how you kind of win. You trap somebody without being able to leave.
I wonder if you would have called this an area control mechanism if I hadn't said that before.
We already were talking about area controlling when you said the gerrymandering thing, and
which I think is a good pick.
Which is an area control game.
He's trying really
not
hard.
an abstract game.
I don't know who to be annoyed about right now.
Anyway, Santorini, my number 4.
My number 4 also has luck. Still an abstract strategy game, and I never heard anyone say otherwise, other than Z, apparently.
What is it?
And that's the Duke. Or it's...
I'll let him say it.
What? The Duke, yeah, what? Yeah.
There's luck in the tile you pull from the bag.
Yeah, I agree.
And you're going to say it's not abstract strategy?
That better be followed with yes. Because we talked about this yesterday.
Right.
And this is one of the games you gave as a...
It was, yes, it was.
Okay.
You don't get every piece, right?
Well, you could, I suppose, if you pulled them all, but...
Yeah, it fails that test for me.
I guess, but I mean, if I put this on my list, I doubt there's gonna be comments like that's definitely not. I really feel like this is if we had people's choice on this would be on the list.
And again,
down.
I think if you change the components, your definition falters. If this was a deck of cards with matching miniatures set aside, and on your turn, you either move a miniature or you flip over a card that gives you a new unit that you then grab the plastic.
I've been thinking about this. I still think it'd be abstract strategy because I would have said, if you would have brought that game, I would have said, wait a minute, you could have just taken all this and put pieces on the board, and it's an abstract strategy game. Anyway, it's not that. So anyway, the Duke has a companion game or sequel game, which is pretty much the same thing. The Jarl.
Right, same kind of.
I like the Duke. Now that I played them a lot, both, and I like the Duke better because it has more sliding, jumping on the board. The Jarl's more of a close combat, has more defensive moves.
Shield wall, yeah.
Which is fine,
the Viking theme
but
game.
I want my game to have that whole gotcha type aspect to it.
Right.
The Duke is a game that shows you what the piece does. It's like chess, and you're trying to capture your opponent's Duke. But after you move, you then flip the piece over, which gives you a different setup. It's usually symmetrical, in which that both sides have the same piece in their bag, although they might come out differently. But they also have different scenarios where there might be a few King Arthur and his knights and the Robin Hood, although that theme is, I don't even know where they come up with how each piece moves.
Oh, yeah.
Lancelot can apparently go, and that's it, or whatever.
Hey, man, he's dangerous.
Anyway, I love the Duke. My number 4 abstract strategy game. Definitive statement, period.
Number 3.
My number 3 is a game by horrible games, and it's called Dragon Castle.
You are definitely a tile-laying lover.
I am.
For sure.
I am.
Which
Tile lover. That's what that sounds like.
And I'm proud of it!
Well, you can't. No, never mind.
Go
I'm
ahead.
gonna stop with
Stop. Go.
Yeah.
You
Stop.
started this.
Just stop. Anyway, Dragon Castle is first of all, is a beautiful game. The pieces are amazingly well done, and I just love the way that board looks.
Wasn't happy to carry this one on the plane though.
It is very heavy, yes.
heavy.
What you're basically trying to do is you're taking first of all, that board there can have different configurations of how the tiles are built up onto it. And then on your turn, you're going to be taking tiles away from that and putting them on your own player board, trying to score different amounts of points and cap certain things off with the little roof tiles that you see there. And you're just scoring more points in that way. But you're taking tiles away and laying them down. The different rules that you employ for what kind of tile you can take is where, in my opinion, the abstract strategy comes into it. And then it's just personified a little bit more in what you're doing on your actual board. I really do enjoy this game a lot, and I think it has that feel of an abstract strategy game to it, and it looks great, which is one of my things. If I'm going to play abstract strategy, it needs to look good. And a lot of abstract strategy games just don't. So that's my number 3, Dragon Castle.
I'm trying to remember. I think this is an abstract strategy. I don't think there's any cards or anything.
No, there isn't.
And I think there are goals and stuff.
Yes.
But they never change. They're available to both players equally.
Well, it's not just 2. It can carry more than 2 players. But yeah.
Or to the players equally.
Yeah.
When you remove a tile, you know which ones you're making available.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I think it works. I'll allow it.
Oh,
I'm kidding.
thank you, sir.
All right, my number 3.
May I have another?
No. My number 3 is another from the from the gift series of games. This is Czar.
That's 3 games from this one series?
Hold on.
That must be nice. Oh, 4? Wow.
Hold
Almost
on.
half of your list is from one series of games?
Yeah.
They are really widely renowned.
Again,
They're
these
very-
games are not a popular genre. You have a few that are really good. They kind of rise to the top. There's
know
a
what? I
lot of
might-
abstract games.
Sure.
There's a lot of repetitive bad
Actually,
ones.
this
Oh,
one
wow,
I
this
might.
looks strikingly
I
similar.
might like this one better than.
You have finally played this? Because I know you hadn't for a while.
Yeah, this is the one. No, I played it with you. This is the one where you need to control
Let me guess.
a
Stacks
certain
of
number
tokens,
of the different. No, the stronger pieces.
You have
Which
3
are-
kinds of pieces.
which are taller than the other ones?
No,
There
they
is
have those.
that. There
they-
is some
They have
stacking
those
in this.
rings in them.
Yeah, there's 3 kinds of pieces. And if you ever run out of any one of the 3 types, you're done.
That's
And
right.
So
no, I
a
played
piece
this.
can only be captured.
Why
by
couldn't you
another
make that
piece.
the board with that sand?
I don't know.
Background.
It's
That would've-
abstract. They wanted something up there. This one,
They
my
wanted
favorite
to
thing
appear
about this
more
one
dry
is
than
it's
it
one of the
actually is.
fastest in the series. It's about 15, 20 minutes. It's also one of the
Challenge accepted.
It's one of the ones that feels the most, not dangerous, that sounds dumb, but like the one where you most quickly feel at danger. How about that? Like in this game, 2 turns in, you're worried you're gonna lose. That's what I mean. It's that there is very little sort of building up, preparing. You know, in chess, you're getting closer to your opponent, you are setting up traps, blah, blah, blah. This is like chess if the pieces were 2 spaces away from each other at the beginning of the game. That's what I mean. I like that feeling in this game. It's got
I wonder if people.
the possibility for clever moves, the possibility for reversals of fortune, which is something I appreciate in good abstracts as well. Really like this one. The only reason there's another one higher in this series of games is because it's more approachable. Sorry about that. My number 3, Czar.
My number 3 is a game that Z's been mocking so far by saying you put pieces on the board and you have cards that tell you how they move. Apparently that's not abstract.
I don't know what it is.
It's Onitama, which has cards and tells you how to move those plastic
No. I
pieces on
said
the
you
board.
draw cards from a deck
No.
Which you
card.
do in Onitama.
at the beginning
No,
once.
And they're
Shut up, be on my side.
they're
I'm
all-
helping you out.
No, I can't help you.
Come
on
on,
that.
All right,
man.
anyway. No,
That's
sorry.
actually, if you had the deck of Onitama cards, and every time you used one, you discarded it and drew a new one. That's not fair.
Well, I wouldn't whine about it like that, but
You get what I'm saying? Like, I might just draw the card, I need to kill you, and without you knowing it was in the game.
But again,
So abstract strategy games have to be fair in order
no,
to be
they have to
abstract
be
strategy?
no luck, open information.
well, anyhow, that's
You know what
not
I mean?
how Onitama works. So this is our only three-way crossover, guaranteed.
What?
Tom hasn't. Sam, no. He hasn't said it.
Oh, that's right. Sam hasn't said it. Sorry. So
He hates it.
let me rephrase that. This is our only
This is
three-way
our-
crossover, guaranteed.
Yes,
Onitama. I'll talk more about it later. It's a great game.
All right, cool. That works.
Number 2.
All right, my number 2 has already been mentioned by Thomas.
Really? Only by me?
Yes, I think so. I don't think he. No, he doesn't think that.
Okay,
this is
the
an
only
abstract
game on my list
strategy
that
I don't
possibly
not
would fit on yours.
presume.
Oh, the Duke?
game. Oh no.
Azul.
Yes.
But the other one.
Stained glass.
Oh,
of
you do
Sintra.
like that one. Yeah, that's
Stained
the one
glass
he
of
said.
Sintra, yes.
No, you like this one better too. I don't know.
I do.
Why do you like this one better?
I don't like. Well, I don't know. To me, it just seemed.
The other one's too abstract.
Well, I would do that. Yeah, I would say that. But I think this is.
Trap.
No, I would say that because it just feels more abstracted. But this one is also abstract, but it doesn't feel as much of an abstract game.
All right.
So it employs much of the same mechanisms as the original one does. It just puts them together in a different way, if that makes any sense there. But I
Both
like,
are going to be wiped out by the third
I
one.
like the columns here instead of the
Who
rows,
knows?
and I don't know that means a whole lot. How you score in this game, I think, is a lot more clearer than in the original, which is a big plus for me. So, and I like the translucent.
You know what it is for
pieces
me?
of
It's
this-
that pass mechanism. I really like that.
Yeah, being
100%.
able to reset and just say, I'm not taking anything
That's
this
exactly
turn.
it.
That's cool.
It's the
That's
timing.
cool.
Although sometimes we all sit there and like, okay, wait, if I pass, you pass. You're taking the pile.
Yes, exactly. And there's that point where, oh crap, I'm going to get a whole lot of
You
negative
just have to be
points.
able to see that one turn ahead and be like,
Yeah.
I pass now.
That's
But,
true. That's true.
I really do like this one. I like it a lot better. I think it is an improvement upon the original Azul. That's my number 2, Azul stained glass.
It's pretty high. I didn't realize it would be that high.
I like
That
it a
game
lot.
is great. And if it was an abstract strategy game, I would have been on my list. I'm laying it on thick now for
Yes,
effect,
you
people,
are.
okay?
You're lucky these aren't glass clipboards.
Oh my goodness.
A breakaway glass clipboard. I have like a stack of 20 of them in the back.
Oh
that's
my
a good
goodness.
idea. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm thinking of.
I know what you're thinking
Yeah.
of, yes.
All right,
I
my
think
number
those are long
2.
gone, though, aren't they?
No, they're
They're
not.
probably like just a glob of
Yeah,
nastiness
they don't look
now.
like a glass anymore. Yeah.
All right, my number 2 is Hive.
All right, good, because the chat was saying they would like murder someone if this wasn't mentioned. I don't like Hive, which is why it's not on my list.
I don't really care for it either, although I think it's a great production. of
I
the game.
recognize
I just,
the greatness of the game.
This is
I just-
kind of like
I completely honk at this game, like major.
Hong Kong.
Yeah, that's another way to say I suck at it, but
Oh, I never heard that.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. I don't think I'm that good at it either. I do enjoy the game. Though.
Well, you're
And this
better
is
than
kind
us.
of like the Duke, but all the pieces they're all different, kind of like in the Duke. But they're all available to you at the beginning of the game. When you put one in play, you pick one. It's like, if you did all the pieces in a bag and then when you wanted to put one out, you drew randomly. That sucks because you might not get the critter's power you want. But it is all about sort of surrounding the opponent's queen bee and maneuvering your pieces in order to do that. This has been interesting because, again, I use chess like it's because the pieces have different powers. It's not like chess really, but it's been interesting to see new pieces being added to this after the game came out, which was true for chess when it was, over hundreds of years, but the pieces did gain new powers and changed. But seeing that on a truncated timetable has been kind of interesting when you think about an abstract game and then it's like, it's a set game. Also, here's a new bug, here's a new power, bam, now you can do a new thing in it. So But yeah, I like it. It's a quick one. I've taught it quite a bit actually, and it seems to go over pretty well with people. Folks seem to enjoy it.
No, I give this game props. It's just not in my personal wheelhouse. You liked this guy's second game, didn't you? I forget what it was called. The one where you run around as.
That's me. The dice one.
Yeah.
I like it. I don't know if you've played it.
Oh, okay.
That's like his fourth game, by the
What are
way.
you talking
Got
about?
it.
Did a couple of ones that were lesser
What are you
known.
talking about? What game?
Tatsu, I think it's called.
Tatsu.
Did you play that? It's kind of like the backgammon.
Got it.
It's sort of backgammon.
Definitely not an abstract strategy game.
It's not. There's a bunch of luck in it. That's it. That's my number 2, Hive.
My number 2 is probably higher on someone else's list.
What?
It's the second game that I have, and the only other game from the Gift series, and that's Yinch in all capital letters. This is the very definition of getting 5 in a row. But
How
it
many
also
in a row do you need to win?
15 actually, because you need to get 5 in a row 3 times.
Ah.
But this game also uses the mechanism from Othello, which I like. Where the pieces can be flipped over on either side, so you jump over pieces and you flip them all over. So you might flip some of your own over, which can be problematic. And this game also has a really nice thing that when you do get 5 in a row, you remove one of your rings from the board. These rings are moving around so that you're a little bit more constricted. So it's a very nice balancing thing.
I agree.
Great game, easy to teach, super fun. Yinch. We'll talk about it later.
And finally, number 1.
Are we allowed to roll these on this list, Z?
I don't know. That's interesting.
Here.
What about if we roll all 3, right? This is setup randomness, and then we draft them.
Fine. What does this even mean?
See, that was an abstract.
Was it?
Yeah.
All right, since by those stupid rules, I'm gonna go. We're just gonna go reverse. Me, Z, and Sam. I already know
All
it.
right.
I already know what both yours are anyway. So,
So why don't you go last if it's a surprise?
because I'm tired of you guys not changing the order. All right.
He wants to mess Roy up.
No, Roy's prepared. Roy's tired of being prepared and not doing it. Is what
Got
happened.
it, buddy. Okay.
All right, my
I'm
number
sorry.
1 is a crossover with Z, sort of, and that is
Sort of.
Santorini. But I will only
Oh, sure.
play with the powers, because to me it's a super fun thing where there's with the expansion there's 50 powers, whatever. I get one, you get one, and now the game is a puzzle on how to stop your power and win with mine. I love it. I really enjoy that aspect of the game. It doesn't hurt that the game is also really, really pretty. You know, it's you can buy a newer version of it that doesn't come with that big
Island, plastic
who cares?
island. Yeah, I agree.
The nice bits are in both games.
Yeah.
But just as you're building it up with the miniatures, you could even paint the buildings white if you want.
Who would do such a thing? They're already white.
It seems like an odd thing to do. Yes.
No burning.
And you know what, though? This is interesting because Vernon is the very opposite of someone who likes abstract strategy games.
Got miniatures. There
That
are
doesn't
miniature
always,
buildings.
I know, but that doesn't always.
That's enough for that man.
No, I think it's more that his kids love it.
Yeah, maybe.
He enjoys it, but I think his kids love it a lot.
I think this is one that offers a lot of depth and doesn't look like it does. When you first
That's
explain
true.
it, you're like, this is really simple. Yeah. I will say this, though. I'm not a huge fan of the 3-player version of it. It's 2 to 3 players.
Oh, yeah, I don't even think about that.
I rather just play it with 2.
I
So,
agree.
Santorini? Z, what do you got?
with player powers.
Yeah, Yinch is my number 1 pick.
I really thought you'd put one of the other ones over Yinch myself.
It's still good. There's a lot of strategy there. There's a lot of things you need to think about, things you need to watch out for. I love the ring removal thing. As you get closer to winning, you get weaker on the board. That's brilliant, and they managed to do that without saying that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Without being like, oh, we're gonna pull you back because you're running ahead. No, it's like to score a point, remove a ring, and put it over here to mark 1 point. And there are 3 spots for rings. Wink, wink. We just made you a little bit weaker.
Am I
That's
the
so
only
cool.
person who's bugged by the fact that there's like 3 spots for rings and no one in games
I always
like that?
put the last one in there so I may gloat for a few minutes.
No one
at
ever
least.
puts the last thing on because as soon as you do it, you're
Check.
like, I won.
Mate. wait, don't pick up yet. Don't move the pieces. Allow me to enjoy this. 3 rings. Look at the 3. Yeah, this is a good one. This is the one I've taught the most to people because it's the simplest. You know, it's people know Othello, and this is kind of like that. So I like it a lot. Do it.
My number 1 is a 3-way crossover, Onitama.
That's right, man.
And
You got any good stories about this?
Tell us about something that happened.
oh
one time.
yeah, I whooped Jason at this. Yes.
I wasn't sure where you were going with that, but okay, got it.
Yeah,
Got any good
whoop-
stories?
Whoop Jason at this one.
I don't think he's ever talked about it without talking about that
Love
moment.
it. Well, Jason's a gaming machine, so when you beat him, you got to revel.
It's funny in our game group every time. Like the other night, I talked to you guys. I just as a heads up, you haven't met Jason before, but he's gonna win. I want you to be prepared for that. And he
did.
He did.
Yes, of course. I took a lot of guff with this, with me calling this a hand management game, and I think it's one of the. I really think that it's hand management because
Man,
you
I would have
have
backed out of that position. Just saying.
you have 5 cards that are available in the game, and you have to manage those 5 cards. You have to manage not only your hand, but also your opponent's hand and the one that's out there for free. You must do that. If you don't, you're going to lose. Period. End of discussion. That's my number 1, Onitama.
All right, those of you watching, what are games that we missed, and we'll tell you why they didn't make the list. You notice that Chess nor Go made our list. I think very highly of those games, but I don't enjoy them mostly because the player base is so much higher than me in that, and that's not as fun for me at all.
Right.
So, what are games? One that someone I saw someone mention at the very beginning was Shobu, and that's probably my number 11. The new one from
With
Laughing.
the stones and the rope and stuff.
Such a good game, and that could move into my top 10
Sure.
as time goes by. So, Tapestry, no.
Nice.
Zendo, I did not put on my list because I decided Zendo is essentially a logic game,
Right.
and that's just a different category.
Right.
Nothing personal. Okay, Through the Desert. I didn't put on my list
Excuse me.
because I thought about it, and it just, the theming is so, I don't know. I had a hard time. I waffled for a long time whether to put Through the Desert on my list, and I finally decided not to because it just seems like there's some theme there at least. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, it feels thematic to you.
A little. And same thing for photosynthesis. But photosynthesis very differently. I think that the photosynthesis theme works really well.
Yeah, it's very
the sun
thematic.
is going around.
Yeah.
The trees you're blocking other trees. That's such a strong
It's
theme.
not abstracted.
Well, it feels like it's both an abstract strategy game and a thematic game.
Well, I guess so. But the theme works very well with the mechanism.
Yeah.
Which to me doesn't mean that it means that it's not abstracted.
What about TAC? Or TAC, or however you pronounce it.
I guess so. I played it like once or twice, and I was done with
It
it.
was in my top
I
20
thought about
probably.
it. I thought about it, didn't make my list. I don't think it would have made my top 20 even, but it's somewhere after that.
Reef. So, a lot of people are asking about Reef.
Not abstract. It's abstracted tremendously so. It's devoid of theme.
Sure,
Not an abstract game.
but
Not
in
an
this-
abstract strategy game.
In this game, you're collecting cards and playing cards. It just doesn't feel like the definition. There's also, you're looking for certain cards, waiting for them to come up. In this game, I might argue there's too much luck. I'm not saying there's no luck in an abstract strategy game. I don't want to get bundled in anyone's camp here. I'll move over here a little bit, but let's see, Arima. Oh, I don't like Arima that much. It's okay.
Never did play it.
That's that. Also,
I know what it
Arima,
is, but-
Arima came across when it first came out. They were like,
Snooty, yeah.
"We fixed chess.
It did.
Try to beat my game." It's like, all right.
it did.
Oh no, they was like, write a computer program that beats my game. Like we did, but the computer program fell asleep. So,
Wow.
Jeez.
Wow.
all right. Sorry,
cold,
I'm being
man.
super jerky right now. Let's
Yeah.
see. Nightmare Chess. That takes chess and adds a theme and nonsense and chaos to it.
I never played Nightmare Chess. I know that's that for duty game, but I never played it.
Corridor?
Never played it either.
Oh, it's okay.
Never looked at,
Let's
like,
see.
Interesting.
Lots of people are saying TAC and Hive. We already said TAC. Taluva.
Taluva has random tile draws.
Octi.
Taluva is as abstract as like Carcassonne.
Yeah, I agree. What about Octi?
That's all right. Yeah, I barely remember it. I used to own it. It's a cool chess-like game in which the pieces begin sort of neutral and you add possibilities of moves to it, right? That's the one. That's cool. It's a good idea.
What about Pastali?
I don't know what the the spaghetti one. Oh,
Pastali.
I despise that game.
I like it a lot, actually.
Thought this game was like heading in a box.
I don't know. It's just it didn't make my top 10, but I liked it. I like that one. Patchwork. I don't know. Would you consider Patchwork an abstract? I guess it is, right?
I guess so.
There is no luck in it, is there? You pick how far around the thing you can
remember
move.
it that well. I played it one time and forgot
Now,
about it.
there's one game I thought would make your list, but after listening to your stunted definition of the thing, and that's Hiroshima Hex. But I feel like Hiroshima Hex is an abstract game.
It's very abstracted, for sure. Because it's like you're supposed to be replicating a battlefield, but it's a puzzly sort of battlefield setup. You know, you trigger a battle. It's not like an ongoing fight. You have to trigger it. You position. It's definitely abstracted. But I actually like the theme in that game. It feels like folks shooting each other and trapping each other and throwing a net on somebody who can't move.
Okay, no, if you feel that theme, then
it's also,
that's fine.
You're also drawing tiles again and sort of using those tiles.
What about, Pentago I already mentioned. Pentago just didn't make my list. Did you like Pentago?
It's okay.
Yeah. Why did people keep saying stupid stuff like Twilight Imperium? How about number 9? A lot of people said number 9.
I thought about that, but I don't know. It just didn't. I don't know why I didn't include it. I guess just because I like these games better.
No, that's fine. I mean, there you go. Tash Kalar is another one that you might, if you like these other games, you might like Tash Kalar. Even though, what about Raptor? I can tell you why I didn't put Raptor on, but I'm curious what you guys didn't.
I think it's too thematic.
Okay, there you go. Which is really weird since the game was not designed with that theme.
Nope, it's not.
Sure, right,
It actually fits better.
But that theme, man, it feels like Raptors
I
versus
agree,
Scientists.
I
It
agree.
really does, and that's why I wouldn't put it on.
Again, I think maybe I'm just going off of a definition that most people just don't care about, you know?
No, as long as
But-
you stick with your definition.
I think saying a game, because a game's theme is abstracted to its bare mechanical parts, now it's an abstract strategy game, you know what I mean? I don't know, that seems weird. Like the thing I said earlier about, like, this game has a deck, and you're also building buildings. It's a deck building game. It's like, no, that means something else.
Well, for those of you who watch it this later on, of course, you can put in the things that you think should be in there, games that would, are great abstract strategy games. And this is one that there really is a ton out there, but there's so many that are unknown.
100%.
Z and I will play one, we'll be like, that's interesting, and then we won't talk about it again. We won't even think about it again for the rest of our lives.
Think about how many we don't play. I mean, you look up abstract strategy games, and they've been I don't want to say popular genre, but they've been a pursued type of game for a long time. Right?
They don't sell very well.
They don't sell very well at all. And there are tons of abstract games from the 70s, for example, that I'll sometimes look at on BG, and I'm like, that seems interesting. I almost bought one at Essen last year called Havana. I looked it up online. I know what it is. It's it's got bids. You're moving around, a little Go-esque. That one's a little more known, but there are, for each one of those that you kind of know, 1,000 that you haven't heard about. So,
I guess with my list, I don't dislike the idea of abstract strategy games. in a more traditional sense,
Right.
you know, in absolute sense, sit,
Right.
steal in absolutes. But so I guess abstract strategy games just bore me from what they look. So I try to find games that have elements of those traditional abstract strategy games in it that might step outside of the traditional
Yeah, spice it up.
definition of what
Yeah,
it is,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it still has those capabilities of just abstractness, those elements of being abstract strategy games, and those are the ones that I gravitate
Sure.
towards because they look better, they're more fun, they're not boring, you know, that type of stuff.
Sure, I
So-
get it. I mean, I enjoy a good, elegant-looking abstract game. I do. I mean, I won't every day. Like, it's not my main thing. But sometimes, yeah, you pull out one of these wooden abstracts where, like, even the Yinch ones, the GIF ones, they're plastic. They just look artistic on the table. To me, I look at an abstract game, the really pretty ones, and I'm like, that looks elegant. And there's something about that is visually striking and pleasing, and symmetry, you know, their symmetrical mind is pleased, all that stuff. So, yeah.
Alrighty, well, we'll see you guys in a week for our next top 10, which will be our top 10 hilarious games, which is probably the opposite of this list.
I'm putting at least 2 of these games.
Yinch. Anyhow.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
But we'll also be back tomorrow for a live playthrough. So we'll see you tomorrow morning. Until then, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia.
Sam Healy. See you on the flip side, folks. Take care.
Thanks so much for watching another Dice Tower video. If you enjoy our videos, subscribe to the channel for more fun, comprehensive board game coverage. Also, consider joining us at one of our events. Come to Dice Tower Retreat, a small, intimate gathering where gaming is king. Join us for Dice Tower Cruise, the largest board game cruise. Attend Dice Tower West in Las Vegas for gaming fun on the West Coast, or Dice Tower East in Orlando, in sunny Florida. Dice Tower Conventions, the friendliest gaming conventions on Earth. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.